Members' motion with no legislative effect. Members who wish to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. The Council will proceed to a debate on Professor Michael NGAI's motion on strengthening Hong Kong's function as an offshore Renminbi business hub to contribute to the Renminbi internationalization process. Mr. CHAN Chun-ying will move an amendment to the motion. This Council will proceed to a joint debate on the motion and the amendment. I will first call upon Professor Michael NGAI to speak and move the motion. Then I will call upon Mr. CHAN Chun-ying to speak, but he may not move the amendment at this stage. The joint debate now begins. I now call upon Professor Michael NGAI to speak and move the motion. Professor Michael NGAI. President, I move that the motion as printed on the agenda be passed. The National 15 Five-Year Plan specifically stipulates accelerating the internationalization of Renminbi, and this should be a strategy of Hong Kong in development. The city is also preparing its first five-year plan. Against this backdrop, developing Hong Kong as an offshore Renminbi business hub is not only about consolidating and enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international financial center. It is also about serving the development of the country. And we need to have breakthroughs in the financial sector in order to serve both internal and external parties. We already deal with 75% of Renminbi business in the world. We have three core advantages in terms of financial infrastructure. We are a leader in the world. We have cross-boundary payments between Hong Kong and the mainland, with transactions being handled in seconds. We have digital bonds, real-world asset tokenization. We have issued licenses for virtual asset service providers and issuers. We have achieved quite a number of breakthroughs. In terms of applications, we have Renminbi business facility quota going up to $200 billion. And we now see multiple application scenarios in financing and trading. In terms of innovation and risk management, we continue to widen the range of products available for different connect arrangements. We have also enhanced arrangements for futures of offshore Renminbi sovereign bonds, and we are also building trade ecosystem for Renminbi and other currencies. When faced with complex geopolitics and fierce competition, we still have room for improvement. We should strive for excellence. We need to enhance connectivity in the cross-border payment system so that Hong Kong can be an extended branch of the payment system of the country. We also need to construct and improve the yield curve of Renminbi sovereign bonds. We also need to construct digital finance infrastructure in an expedited manner to really make steps towards becoming the future pioneer in finance. We need to have an extensive counterparty clearing mechanism to enhance Renminbi sovereign bonds' attractiveness as a collateral. We need to participate in depth in the mBridge project and make use of blockchain technology for the clearing services of Renminbi so that we can handle such transactions in an expedited manner. We need to expand the different settings of use of Renminbi and liquidity. We should deepen the collaboration models of Chinese yuan, and provide low-risk settlement solutions to lower fluctuations in exchange rates and reliance on the US dollars. We need to extend arrangements, facilitate different facilitation arrangements to non-local financial institutions. We should have a one-stop comprehensive financial services ecosystem so that we can enhance the supply chain of services to increase the services attractiveness and enhance the influence of renminbi. We should have direct exchange arrangements of renminbi and Southeast Asian currencies with Belt and Road countries. We need to make circulation of capital smoother to boost vitality of the financial markets. We can also, by doing this, facilitate investment in tech enterprises in Hong Kong and the mainland so that we can facilitate development of these enterprises. We should include Hong Kong stock renminbi counters in southbound trading to reduce the exchange rate risks and transaction costs of mainland investors. We should actively try to construct a renminbi gold pricing and trading center and have funds of renminbi and gold ETF and tokenized products as well as futures to construct an ecosystem in trading of relevant products and to be the price setter in the market. In terms of green finance, we should continue to enhance the range of products available for green finance and sustainable finance. For example, renminbi-linked bonds. We need to also have for risk management tools futures for renminbi sovereign bonds so that we have a greater range of derivative products of sovereign bonds. We should also construct a commodity risk management platform and have swap southbound connect. To enhance offshore renminbi business functions is how we can achieve a breakthrough for development of finance in Hong Kong. It's not just about enhancing Hong Kong's competitiveness. It is about becoming the standard setter and enhancing influence. We need to form an ecosystem. We need to have infrastructure, channels, and application settings, and create demand with innovation to enhance liquidity and ensure the depth of the market so that renminbi will no longer only be used for trading but also for investment, and it can then become a part of foreign reserves of different central banks. That will reduce reliance on the US dollars. We will also have fairer order in international finance and facilitate the high quality development of the world. I hope I have member support.
Hi.
I now propose the question to you that the motion moved by Professor Michael NGAI be passed. Mr. Ron Chan, President, our country's economy is resilient. RMB foreign reserve is stable, and this helps provide a solid foundation for high-quality development of the RMB market. I thank Professor Michael NGAI for the motion. I agree that we need to improve financial infrastructure, expand application scenarios, and offer innovative products to boost liquidity. These are to help promote the construction of a financial powerhouse. I move the amendment to further refine the original motion. First, on strengthening offshore RMB clearing capabilities. Hong Kong has already built or is targeting to build an offshore hub to enhance competitiveness. Now, we are handling 75% of offshore RMB payments. However, the scale and coverage scope should be enhanced. We should continue to improve RMB RTGS cross-time zone operating mechanism. We should boost clearing capacity and efficiency to attract more international financial institutions to join the clearing system in Hong Kong, especially the Belt and Road countries, the Middle East, as well as emerging markets, to extend the reach of RMB and enhance our influence. With more application scenarios of RMB, we need medium and long-term financing distribution. Currently, the debt to reserve ratio is 97%. However, currently we rely on short-term repo tools. However, we need to enhance medium and long-term tools. We need financing tools as well as to address capital needs to expand the liquidity pool of RMB. In the coming few years, the SAR government should work with the PBOC and other national institutions, as well as the Ministry of Finance, to build an ecosystem. For example, we should develop a bond issuance scheme. We should come up with a diversified bond issuing scheme and issue bonds with a tenure of 20 to 30 years. This is to build a bond yield curve to attract patients' capital from around the world so that this can grow stably and that we can build an RMB center. RMB center has to do with international currencies. For the first few months, we see $1.9 trillion of RMB settlement. According to SWIFT, RMB payments account for 2.74%, ranked 6th around the world. And this is proportionate with China's status as the major trade hub. We have to enhance the infiltration rate of RMB. In the past, RMB settlement focuses on traditional trade partners. With recent geopolitical tensions, the pattern has shifted. For example, for the ASEAN, it has for 6 years in a row be the biggest trade partner of our country. Our major mission is to encourage the enterprises in these trade partners to use RMB as the settlement currency. At the same time, we have to simplify cross-border trade settlement to incentivize people to use RMB for settlement. My amendment is to enrich the regional motion on the point about improving the framework in the Hong Kong's 5-year plan. Apart from the above measures, we have to enhance the mutual access regime, increase RMB liquidity, and deepen regional collaboration. I hope the SAR government can make use of our advantages, plug the loopholes, address the shortcomings, and deepen the use of RMB so that we can see a leap in RMB development. I so submit. Thank you.
主席 Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury. Thank you, President. I'd like to start by thanking Professor Michael NGAI for moving this motion on deepening Hong Kong's role as an offshore RMB hub to drive RMB internationalization, and Mr. Ron Chen, who moves an amendment. This provides an opportunity for us to exchange views on how Hong Kong can seize the strategic opportunities presented by the outline of the National 15th Five-Year Plan, referred to as the 15th Five-Year Plan below, and advance RMB internationalization. Finance is the lifeblood of the economy, a crucial cornerstone of the country's core competitiveness. In the National 15th Five-Year Plan adopted at the 2 sessions this year, the goal to speed up the development of a financial powerhouse was explicitly set out for the first time, with speeding up the building of a modern financial system with Chinese characteristics identified as a key path to achieving this objective. Among these, driving RMB internationalization is a core element in building a strong currency system and enhancing the nation's financial strength and global influence. Not only is it an essential component of a modern financial system, but it also serves as a strategic engine for our nation to command a greater voice on the global financial stage. The international monetary system is undergoing a profound transition from long-standing single currency dominance to a landscape of multi-currency coexistence. The status of the renminbi in global cross-border trade settlement continues to strengthen, making it a vital component of foreign exchange reserves for an increasing number of countries. This fully demonstrates a high level of trust, stability, and appeal of the renminbi as an international reserve currency. The international community places greater expectations on the role and functions of the renminbi, looking to it to assume a more prominent responsibility in the global financial system. This presents a pivotal strategic opportunity for our country to advance renminbi internationalization. The 15th Five-Year Plan explicitly sets out the goal to advance renminbi internationalization and further strengthens Hong Kong's positioning as a global offshore renminbi business hub. The FS and I visited Beijing this March with visitors of several finance-related ministries and commissions, including the Ministry of Finance, the People's Bank of China, and the China Securities Regulatory Commission. I could clearly see the great importance our country attaches to Hong Kong in the development of a financial powerhouse. Hong Kong's unique functions and irreplaceable advantages in advancing renminbi internationalization have been fully acknowledged and highly valued. Furthermore, Hong Kong's international perspective, mature financial infrastructure, and role as a bridge connecting the mainland and global markets are also considered a crucial force supporting our country's financial reform and opening up. With the strong support of the central government, Hong Kong has consistently anchored its position as the preeminent global offshore renminbi business hub. According to SWIFT, Hong Kong currently processes about 75% of global offshore renminbi payments, demonstrating its irreplaceable market share and global influence. As of the end of February 2026, Hong Kong's renminbi deposits, including outstanding certificates of deposit, aggregated about $1.2 trillion, maintaining the world's largest pool of offshore renminbi liquidity. As the epicenter of global offshore renminbi transactions and financial activities, Hong Kong not only provides robust liquidity support to the international market, but also serves as a solid foundation and vital safeguard for driving renminbi internationalization. Before I listen to the insightful fields of members, allow me to briefly outline the key initiatives undertaken by the government and financial regulators to expand Hong Kong's competitive edge in the offshore renminbi business. I will focus on how we are spearheading these efforts across 4 pillars: 1. Upgrading financial infrastructure, 2. Enhancing offshore renminbi liquidity, 3. Enriching renminbi product offerings, and 4. Exploring emerging markets. On the upgrading of financial infrastructure, the launch of northbound and southbound trading under Bond Connect in 2017 and 2021 respectively hasn't only deepened mutual market access between the mainland and global markets, but has also consolidated Hong Kong's pivotal role in global offshore renminbi clearing, financing, and asset management. Furthermore, the offshore renminbi bond repurchase and cross-boundary bond repo businesses rolled out by the Central Money Markets Unit last year have played a key role in this endeavor. On boosting offshore renminbi liquidity, an abundant liquidity pool is the foundation for all business development. The total quota of the renminbi liquidity facility launched by the Hong Kong MA was doubled to renminbi $200 billion this February, providing stable and lower-cost renminbi funding to banks. This supports banks in providing renminbi financing to corporate clients in Hong Kong and overseas for trade finance, daily operations, and capital expenditure, thus extending the global reach of offshore renminbi and supporting the wider use of renminbi in the real economy. On enriching renminbi product offerings, we actively encourage more mainland governments at various levels, as well as onshore and offshore public and private institutions, to issue offshore renminbi bonds in Hong Kong. The Ministry of Finance has issued renminbi sovereign bonds in Hong Kong for 18 years running, with a cumulative total reaching renminbi 463.5 billion as of April 2026. The governments of Shenzhen, Hainan, and Guangdong have over time issued offshore renminbi local government bonds in Hong Kong. The SAR government has also issued renminbi-denominated government bonds multiple times under the Sustainable Bond Program and the Infrastructure Bond Program. Beyond bonds, we're actively working with the Chinese mainland to speed up the launch of Treasury bond futures in Hong Kong, the inclusion of renminbi stock trading counters under Southbound Stock Connect, and the inclusion of REITs in mutual market access. On exploring emerging markets, we are actively expanding into the Middle East and the Belt and Road regions. We step up promotional efforts and actively market the advantages of Hong Kong's offshore renminbi services globally through overseas visits, seminars, and roadshows. President, the government is making all our efforts to formulate Hong Kong's inaugural 5-year plan to better align with the national 15th Five-Year Plan and to deeply promote Hong Kong's close integration with the country's strategic development. Among these, strengthening Hong Kong's positioning as a global offshore renminbi business hub is without doubt a core focus of our financial incentives. the various recommendations in the members' motions, including actively upgrading financial infrastructure, strengthening offshore RMB clearing capabilities, expanding application scenarios, and driving product innovation, closely echo our work, fully reflecting members' profound insights on further cementing Hong Kong's financial status. I will listen to your valuable views and respond to these recommendations in my concluding remarks, ensuring that the plan meets practical needs and that we jointly drive renminbi internationalization and Hong Kong's financial development. Thank you, President.
Mr. Brave Chen. Thank you, Deputy President. I also thank Mr. Christopher Ho. I thank Professor Michael NGAI for his motion and Mr. Ron Chan for the amendment. What I want to say is that we have to strengthen Hong Kong's function as an offshore RMB business hub to contribute to RMB internationalization. At the same time, we have to reinforce our status as an international financial center. President Xi Jinping always says that we have to build a system with Chinese characteristics. By building a strong currency system, we can deepen RMB's incorporation into our strategy. The country asked that we develop RMB internationalization, and that covers the payment system as well as the speeding up of the development of an offshore RMB hub. Hong Kong is the largest offshore RMB business hub, and it is also the safest offshore RMB center. In the chapter about Hong Kong and Macau in the National 15th Five-Year Plan, it says Hong Kong has to build itself into an offshore RMB hub. Our chief executive also stressed that we have to boost RMB liquidity to promote RMB internationalization. It is estimated that offshore RMB reaches $10 trillion. Just in Hong Kong alone, there are $1 trillion. If we can speed up our progress and attract the 9 trillion yuan of RMB to Hong Kong, that would solidify our status as an international financial center, and that we can also contribute to RMB internationalization. RMB is the second largest trade financing tool and the third largest currency for payments. There are wars going on in different places, including the US as well as Russia, and that helps boost RMB businesses in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the testing ground as well as the firewall for our country to promote high-quality development. We have already handled over 75% of offshore RMB payments, and the liquidity pool is huge. These present opportunities to Hong Kong. According to our budget, we're going to expand these. Hong Kong is a super connector. Like the chief executive said, we have to be the super value adder. In the MPC and the CPPCC sector, we also promote Hong Kong as a super connector. We call for the issuance of RMB bonds, as well as medium and long-term bonds denominated in RMB. I believe the Secretary is an expert in this regard. Like Mr. Hui said, we want more cities, provinces such as Guangdong, Shenzhen, Hainan can come to Hong Kong to issue RMB-denominated bonds. We also suggest that we incorporate offshore RMB strategies into Hong Kong's 5-year plan. We need a clear roadmap, and we have to enhance coordination with national ministries and commissions as well as the HKMA to garner policy support from them. We have to attract investment firms, financial institutions around the world to establish presence in Hong Kong. And we have unrivaled advantages in this regard. We have to cultivate talent in risk management and green finance as well. We must seize the opportunities presented by the National 15th Five-Year Plan. We have to build financial infrastructure, application scenarios, and innovative products and boost RMB liquidity. In this regard, the DAB has various suggestions. We presented our suggestions to the government, and we hope that our suggestions could be taken on board. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chen Pui-leung. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Professor NGAI for the motion. The National 15th Five-Year Plan clearly states that we need to promote RMB internationalization and build an RMB hub. This can help contribute to our country, and we need this to transform ourselves. We can do so and reinforce our status as an international financial center. We are closely linked to the world, and we have the backing of our motherland. We have the biggest liquidity pool, and we handle over 75% of offshore RMB payments around the world. With our mutual access regimes, we can ensure RMB circulation and RMB liquidity as well as risk control. There are no other offshore hubs that can replicate this model because we have unrivaled strengths. We should make breakthroughs and drive the banking, insurance, accounting sector to build the development of the financial system. We have to enhance competitiveness and help our country build a financial powerhouse. Hong Kong is the largest offshore RMB hub, and the insurance sector in Hong Kong has been playing an indispensable role. Insurance premium accounts for a huge capital, and risk management demand is high, and this helps promote the building of an offshore RMB ecosystem. As our country's economy continue to grow, there is a higher demand for insurance products and wealth management. Enterprises that seek to go global, they need insurance derivatives tool as well as risk management tools, and this presents a big opportunity for the development of Hong Kong's insurance sector. We can deepen the contribution of the insurance sector. First, we should offer RMB-denominated insurance products. The profit has been stable, and the risks are low. They are attractive to mainland residents. Even with geopolitical tensions, we can attract the ASEAN as well as Middle Eastern countries to bring capital to Hong Kong. And this can help us be an important hub. Second, we have to promote settlement of commodities as well as maritime insurance. Hong Kong as a shipping center, we can be an insurance hub to lower risks of mainland enterprises, and at the same time we can strengthen the ecosystem. Hong Kong can promote RMB settlement for commodities trading. This can help reduce the risks of enterprises. Our country has the biggest fleet. We can set up a dedicated risk pool in Hong Kong for compensation as well as settlement. And this can help attract Chinese fleet to join the risk pool. Also, we can have build and reinsurance center. More and more enterprises are participating in Belt and Road projects, and there are risks incurred. Hong Kong can become a reinsurance hub to help mainland enterprises to join the Belt and Road countries by providing them safeguards. We can offer incentives and concession to attract mainland insurance to set up operation and businesses here. And again, these can be done by RMB settlement to lower operating costs. We can also encourage the issuance of RMB-denominated disaster bonds in Hong Kong to help diversify risks. And this can again expand the RMB liquidity pool and risk pool in Hong Kong. Then we can be a risk management center. I so submit.
Ms. Carmen Khan, thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Professor Michael NGAI's original motion and the Deputy President's amendments. The National 15th Five-Year Plan specifically stipulates we need to accelerate the internationalization of renminbi, and renminbi, we do have an edge in that in promoting the internationalization of renminbi. With complex geopolitics, there is now great demand for renminbi, and we do have three centers positioning that are interrelated: International Financial Center, Asset Wealth Management Center, as well as Risk Management Center. My line of thought is in line with the amendments proposed by Mr. Chan Chun-ying. We need to make good use of OmniClear and expand the functions of the CMU, Central Money Markets Unit, to upgrade them to be on par with the other bodies in the rest of the world. We need to enhance competitiveness as at 2025. We are already in custody of $5.2 trillion of bonds. But compared to the European counterpart, they are managing $33 trillion of euro, 43 trillion euros of assets. So there's great room for catching up. We have CMU's functions that have great potential beyond traditional bond registration and settlement and clearing. I hope with the fixed income and currency products blueprint, we can increase the range of products available. We also need to increase the range of renminbi-denominated products to promote renminbi's use in settlement. Because if we don't do that, renminbi would still have to be exchanged into US dollars or other foreign currencies. We have dim sum bonds often issued by financial institutions in Hong Kong, and that has limited our potential. I hope that we can strive for central authority support in having non-financial institutions issue dim sum bonds as well. The Deputy President also mentioned this earlier. With the issuance of long tenor bonds of renminbi, we at least need to provide different tenors and provide different options. We also should provide pricing standards for investors' reference, and this is what many investors want. I hope we can also have a more efficient risk management tool. In terms of the stock market, we should have more comprehensive Hong Kong dollar and renminbi counters. I hope the Bureau can have stamp duty paid by renminbi, and the Bureau talked about implementing legislative amendments in this regard. I hope they can be provided in an expedited manner. We should make good use of the currency swap agreement that has a scale of $800 billion. The agreement was signed some years ago, but with greater demand for renminbi, I hope the SAR government can expand the quota under this arrangement with the People's Bank of China, as well as enhance liquidity of offshore renminbi and expand applications of renminbi in the greater economy. Recently, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority increased the relevant facility to provide more renminbi funds for the market. Deputy President, I have made some suggestions about how Hong Kong can make use of advantages to serve the country. I so submit speaking in support of the original motion and amendments. Mr. Sunny Tan. Thank you, Deputy President. The National 15 Five-Year Plan talks about developing as a financial powerhouse and expanding the functions of cross-boundary payment system, and it supports Hong Kong in consolidating its status as an international financial center and enhancing offshore Renminbi business. We're now at a critical juncture of development. Promoting internationalization of Renminbi is the country's initiative to diversify risks and build a safety net. To deepen internationalization of Renminbi and construct Hong Kong as an offshore Renminbi hub, I have some suggestions. First, we need to have a long-term development blueprint, with the city preparing its first 5-year plan. I hope the government can have a clear development strategy and roadmap for the development of offshore Renminbi business. We should strive to become a price-setting hub. We should have data analyses to project for the next 3, 5, or even 10 years how much of a Renminbi pool we should have, and we should have forward-looking analyses and upgrading of financial infrastructure to attract more international capital to Hong Kong. Second, we need to construct a controllable financial safety net. All along, international capital as well as capital in Hong Kong relied on SWIFT, that is led by the United States. The country now has a cross-boundary Renminbi payment system, CIPS, and since 2017, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority has been actively taking forward the M-Bridge project, which is a central bank digital currency project, as well as other projects. I hope Hong Kong can leverage on its digital financial infrastructure and help the country develop offshore Renminbi business. Third, we need to increase the range of products available denominated in Renminbi so that we can strive for a price-setting power. We need to expand the range of products available to have commodities, futures, gold, silver, precious metals, new energy, as well as offshore Renminbi bonds. We need to provide diversified options. This will provide Plan B options for international investors so as to reduce reliance on a single currency, and it can really leverage on Hong Kong's strengths and developing the country as a financial powerhouse. Fourth, we need to promote the use of Renminbi in daily life settings as well as commercial settings. We should take a micro perspective. We should ensure there's seamless transition of offshore Renminbi's use in commercial and daily life transactions to promote the use of Chinese yuan. We should have more merchants accept Renminbi as a payment currency. We may even have Belt and Road countries' merchants have offshore Renminbi wallets to promote cross-boundary commercial settlement. As we see more complexity with geopolitics, Hong Kong as an international financial center needs to enhance our international competitiveness of the financial system, help the country construct a Renminbi cross-boundary payment system, and to help the country in its efforts to internationalize Renminbi. I suppose speaking in support of the motion, Reverend Peter Kun. Deputy President, we handle approximately 80% of offshore Renminbi transactions in the world. We, of course, rank first. We also see record highs for Renminbi deposits and loans in Hong Kong. But we need to understand renminbi is still in the single digit in its application in payment in the world, with the country being the second largest economy and the largest trader of the world. There is much to catch up. And with recent data, it shows we have been doing well in trade settlement, but we are lagging behind in terms of financing and wealth management functions. We're at a critical juncture. We should seize the opportunity of the promulgation of National 15 5-year plan and the city preparing its first 5-year plan to convert internationalization of renminbi, our existing efforts, into solid efforts for high quality opening up. With the specific pain points, I think we need to resolve these by revitalizing the counter arrangements. Right now, we are faced with a dilemma with the counters implemented for approximately 3 years. We only have approximately 20 counters, and we only have a turnover of over $10 million per day, compared to the general stock market with hundreds of billions in turnover. There's much in gap, and over 60% of the Chinese invested enterprises are not making use of the counters. We should have more attractive incentives so that blue chip stock companies as well as state-owned enterprises will set up renminbi counters, and we should include these counters in southbound trading of Stock Connect, so that we can attract more mainland capital. We should also strive for the central authorities' support to allow retirement funds to invest in Hong Kong's blue chip stocks. This will promote integration of the capital markets of both sides. It will also create a stable capital source for Hong Kong stocks. We should also make good use of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority's renminbi business facility to have the financing functions of renminbi to be used beyond trading and in capital expenditure. The government should be proactive in recruiting enterprises in the Middle East and ASEAN and Belt and Road countries, so that they will issue renminbi-denominated bonds or provide cross-boundary financing. This will help start an internal circulation of capital, and enterprises can really experience the convenience of making use of renminbi. And this will help Hong Kong develop as a corporate treasury center. In terms of financial infrastructure, we need to plan in advance. As we see more complex geopolitics, we see de-dollarization and the global demand for alternative payment solutions is increasing. We can make use of the CIPS, enhancing its coverage and efficiency so as to facilitate the smooth flow of cross-boundary capital. We also need to seize the opportunity to set prices for commodities, to expand the use of renminbi so that renminbi can go beyond being a trade currency to a globally recognized price setting and reserve currency. I also am speaking in support of the motion amendment.
Mr. Ray Wong. Thank you, Deputy President. The 15th Five-Year Plan expressly sets out that we need to develop Hong Kong into a financial powerhouse. We need to advance renminbi internationalization. This has laid down a clear direction for the development of the financial industry in Hong Kong. We have the advantage of the one country, two systems advantage and principles. Professor Michael NGAI moved this motion, and I speak in strong support of it. The BPA and I have four main proposals. As at the end of 2025, the renminbi liquidity pool totaled $1.2 trillion, handling over 70% of offshore renminbi cross-boundary payments. Hong Kong's focused on the cross-border payments of renminbi, but we have different schemes such as Shanghai Hong Kong Stock Connect, Hong Kong Stock Connect, Shenzhen Hong Kong Stock Connect, and so on. I suggest that the government set down a clear development blueprint for offshore renminbi market development. We need to improve financial infrastructure, and at the same time, we need to enrich renminbi-denominated product offerings. We need to encourage more use of such products. We need to attract global asset management businesses to come to Hong Kong. We need to turn the trading center in Hong Kong into a comprehensive hub. We need to build an international financing platform. This is also a good time for us to improve investor confidence. In 2025, Hong Kong offshore renminbi denominated bonds saw a record high. This shows the strong demand of renminbi asset. Hong Kong is the largest offshore renminbi center around the world. We need to continue to expand such product offerings. We need to provide more avenues for overseas investors to invest in Hong Kong. At the same time, we can attract overseas governments and multinational enterprises to come to Hong Kong. This will allow overseas organizations to make good use of the low-cost environment in Hong Kong. This will also provide global investors with an option to make huge profits. This provides high market liquidity and pricing efficiency. That is why when we develop green sustainable bond program and infrastructure bond program, we can consolidate the local financial systems. We need to lower the market entry threshold. Under the Green Sustainable Financing Grant Scheme, we suggest that the government roll out new schemes so that we can attract ASEAN, Middle East, African emerging markets participation. We also need to issue bonds of different tenors so that different investors can take part in such market transactions through the Hong Kong Exchange. We also need to develop a diversified financial market to encourage commodities trading. The government should further enhance commodity trading and to develop e-commerce. We need to attract more overseas capital to come to Hong Kong. At the same time, we need to have a Hong Kong dollar renminbi dual counter. On renminbi trading, we need to continue to leverage on the special characteristics of the local financial market and advantages. We need to make good use of the settlement system of Hong Kong so that overseas investors can make more investment in order to drive renminbi internationalization. Hong Kong is an offshore renminbi hub. Hong Kong is an active participant and a major contributor. We need to develop Hong Kong into an offshore renminbi center and make Hong Kong a pricing center so that we can enhance renminbi ecosystem comprehensively. Thank you. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion on deepening Hong Kong's role as an offshore renminbi to drive renminbi internationalization. We need to encourage more capital to come to Hong Kong. To achieve this, we need to expand capacity. We need to further enhance renminbi-denominated product offerings, and we also need to promote renminbi-denominated stocks, bonds, ETF risk management tools so that the market will see a more balanced development. I'd like to turn to the bond market in Hong Kong. We need to expand the renminbi-denominated bond market. We need to make good use of such tools as sovereign bonds, futures, and risk management tools. Risk information disclosure. We need to further enhance the southbound connect. We need to incorporate even more products so that mainland investment organizations will be more than willing to enrich their investment portfolios with renminbi-denominated products. Renminbi stock Connect scheme should be incorporated under the Shanghai Hong Kong Stock Connect. The aim is clear. We want to let investors with renminbi-denominated products more conveniently invest in renminbi counter. If the renminbi counter can be incorporated into the Stock Connect scheme, then they can freely move from the bond market to the equity market. Hong Kong will see enhanced capacity in absorbing more renminbi-denominated products. We need to let renminbi not just be used in the secondary market, but it should also be used in the financing market in Hong Kong. In other words, regarding the mutual market access schemes, we need to factor in the increase in the number of products on the policy list, but we also need to see whether such measures will expand our market and enrich product market offerings so that overseas capital will be willing to invest in Hong Kong. Even if we have sufficient avenues, we need more back-end logistics support. What Hong Kong needs to do is to post transaction infrastructure and supporting measures such as custody, transaction, settlement, risk management, and so on. If Hong Kong needs to seize upon these opportunities, we need to interface with regulatory organizations in the Chinese mainland. We need to enhance such backend systems so that Hong Kong will immediately interface with such arrangements when we have such measures so that we won't miss any opportunities. We need to go paperless. We need to continue to enhance the level of autonomy in the market. And this is exactly one of my focuses of my written question. I request that the government take a holistic look from market infrastructure in order to shorten the settlement cycle. We need to take a macro perspective. We need to see how we can enhance market efficiency of the capital market in Hong Kong. All these are interlinked. We need to have a forward-looking market regime or system in order that we can make good use of the policies in Hong Kong so that we can enhance the mobility of the market. The key doesn't just lie in turning Hong Kong into a renminbi denominated product pit stop. We need to make it a destination or a hub for renminbi denominated products. We need to turn Hong Kong into a center where we see renminbi denominated transactions. Only then can we make good use of the advantages of renminbi businesses, and this will not only be shown in capital liquidity but also risk management. I so submit. Thank you, Deputy President. Mr. Chilabwai. Thank you. I thank Professor Michael NGAI for moving this motion. The National 15th Five-Year Plan clearly sets out the goals to speed up the development of a financial powerhouse, advance renminbi internationalization, and deepen capital account convertibility. It, for the first time, supports Hong Kong into developing into a commodity trading ecosystem. We need to contribute our strengths in international development. We need to strengthen our capacity, and we also need to make greater contributions to our country. This motion aligns with what I said just now. I speak in support of this motion. Hong Kong has been cementing its position as the largest global offshore renminbi hub. Dim sum bonds last year reached 1.1 trillion renminbi. making it the largest issuance center for 9 years running. Despite this, we can see the total renminbi savings in Hong Kong or Hong Kong renminbi dual counter under the Stock Connect scheme still see room for improvement. I believe Hong Kong can continue to enhance its work on renminbi businesses in order to give fuller play to our strength as an international financial center. I have 3 main proposals. One, mutual market access schemes need to make good use of renminbi. In the inaugural 5-year plan of Hong Kong, we need to incorporate renminbi counter into the Hong Kong Stock Connect. We also need to incorporate REITs into mutual market access schemes. There should be a timeline as a key performance indicator, KPI. We also need to review cross-boundary operational constraints. We need to further develop international gold trading center with renminbi businesses. The central clearing system for gold will pilot its operation in the middle of this year. I suggest adding renminbi denominated clearing option. We need to sign MOU with the financial regulator of Shenzhen. We need to extend the use of renminbi to the Belt and Road Initiative countries. As at early this year, 124 countries and regions have been connected to the CIP as cross-border interbank payment system, covering 1,500 or so financial organizations. We need to strive for Belt and Road countries to come to Hong Kong to issue bonds so that they can make good use of the capital market in Hong Kong. This will make contributions to Hong Kong, to our country.
Mr. Andrew Yao, President Xi said, strong currency is an important element for our country. In the National 15th Five-Year Plan, it states that we have to internationalize RMB. It is a top-level policy. Externally, there are geopolitical conflicts, and this affects the hegemony of US dollars. The weaponization of US dollars have reduced the reliance of US dollars around the world. Central banks have been opting for physical gold. And with geopolitical conflicts, fuel prices have surged. And because of the US sanctions on Russia, Russia has been opting for RMB settlement. And over 45% of the settlement in Middle Eastern countries are done through RMB. Various countries have been opting for multi-currency settlement as well. In Q1 this year, central banks around the world have taken out 110 billion yuan of RMB, and this shows that RMB is the shelter for various places. Our country has been improving financial infrastructure and enhancing the convenience of using RMB as payment. And RMB payment covers various places. This year, CITS, the RMB settlement system, reaches 1 trillion RMB. In the National 15th Five-Year Plan, it states clear that we have to enhance the level of capital account openness through Stock Connect, Bond Connect, and various mutual market access regime. We are expanding the RMB market, and this helps promote RMB internationalization. Hong Kong is the largest offshore RMB business hub. We process over 75% of offshore RMB payments. We have our unique advantages. I have the following 3 suggestions. First, we have to address the shortcomings in settlement. RMB settlement is our weakness. Hong Kong can roll out more RMB-denominated bonds, equities, and products, as well as futures and derivatives to enhance RMB liquidity as well as RMB settlement. Hong Kong will roll out sovereign bonds as an offsetting tool. These products can attract foreign capital to enter mainland bond market. The bonds to be issued can be of different tenures to accommodate the needs of various investors. We should also do this by enhancing RMB settlement function. Second, we should build a RMB denominated gold system. We already have our central clearing system for gold. We are also developing gold storage facilities. In 3 years' time, it can house 2,000 tons of gold. We have the backing of our country, and we are closely linked to the world. And Hong Kong our country is the biggest consumption of gold. And this helps us enhance gold trading. We should develop RMB denominated gold market and roll out gold related derivatives as well as risk management tools. This is to enhance our status as an offshore RMB hub. Also, as more mainland enterprises are going global, there is a higher demand for RMB. Hong Kong can provide these enterprises with tailor-made risk management plans and services. On the 1st of February this year, the RMB business arrangements has been increased to $200 billion. I hope that we can enlist the support from our country and further enhance the capacity for financing. I support the motion and the amendment. Thank you. Mr. Dennis Leung. Deputy President, I speak in support of the motion on strengthening Hong Kong's function as an offshore RMB business hub to contribute to the RMB internationalization process. I will speak on 3 fronts. First, we have to be clear with our country's currency policy, that is to keep the economy stable. By end 2024, the monetary policy of our country has been shifted to a loose policy. People's Bank of China in March this year said it will continue to implement a loose monetary policy to keep liquidity level. There is also a management system in place of our country to manage foreign exchange ratio. Early 2026, RMB to US has increased to 1.3%, and to euros it has increased to 3.7% in terms of the exchange rate. The PBOC said it is not necessary to depreciate RMB to enhance its competitiveness in trade. Around the end of last year, offshore RMB denominated asset reached 100 billion yuan, and it is the largest settlement currency. It is ranked the 2nd largest trade financing currency and the 3rd largest payment currencies. Hong Kong handles 80% of the offshore RMB payments. It has the largest offshore RMB pool. As at the end of last year, including certificates of deposit, the balance of RMB deposits reached 1.1 trillion RMB, and we see RMB loans increased by 29%. In 2025, the issuance of dim sum bonds reached 1.1 trillion, and this represents an increase of 74% over the past 2 years. It reached 1.6 trillion. In Indonesia, Kazakhstan, and so on, they are issuing dim sum bonds in Hong Kong for the first time. This shows international world's confidence in Hong Kong. The balance of the settlement system for dim sum bonds also reached 1.4 trillion. Over the past 10 years, Hong Kong is the largest bond issuance market in Asia for the past 10 years. According to the National 15 Five-Year Plan, Hong Kong needs to be the offshore RMB hub and international risk management center. Our country hopes we can continue to leverage our strengths. We have 3 missions. First, we have to increase RMB liquidity as well as enhance financing capacity. In 2025 budget, It's said that we have to enhance financing arrangement, and the financing arrangement has increased from 100 RMB to 200 RMB. We need long-term financing facility so that more enterprises and businesses would use RMB for settlement. Now turning to bond yield curve. Our central government are issuing sovereign bonds. In Hong Kong, it has lifted the repo scheme. We need a better system to ensure bond yield curve, and the RMB trade counter has to be incorporated into the Connect scheme to attract capital from the north. Also, we have to make good use of our digital infrastructure and mutual access regime. We have to enhance these schemes and infrastructures. Moving forward, the settlement system should be developed into an international securities custodian platform to build a better trading platform. Hong Kong can be an offshore RMB center, and this helps us solidify our status as an international financial center. This also helps our helps our country open up itself. Hong Kong has the largest offshore RMB market. We have to play our role as a super connector and a super value adder. We have to promote cross-border use of RMB and promote it to global circulation. I so submit. Thank you. Mr. Albert Chuang. I speak in support of Professor Ai's original motion and Mr. Ron Chan's amendment. With geopolitical tension, de-dollarization has been a global trend and topic, and this provides great opportunity for RMB internationalization. Our country's trade accounts for 30%, cross-border payment accounts for 50% in terms of the use of RMB as for settlement. And so RMB has become a cross-border trade currency. With our country's support, we are processing 80% of offshore RMB payments. We are the largest offshore RMB business hub. The National 15th Five-Year Plan states that we have to promote RMB internationalization and enhance the use of RMB in international trade and settlement. This is our country's strategy. To dovetail with the National 15th Five-Year Plan, we must, in our first 5-year plan, incorporate these proposals and strategies. We have to deepen the breadth and depth of RMB usage. We have to attract investors and corporations to allocate their assets in RMB in Hong Kong for trade and storage or reserve purposes. I have the following suggestions. First, on liquidity, we have to make use of blockchain, stablecoin, and AI technologies to accelerate trade financing, management of supply chain, as well as cross-border liquidity. We need to develop diversified RMB-denominated products and services. I have suggested the SAR government to develop closed-circuit RMB management system. To make breakthroughs, we need this system to regulate the circulation of RMB between Hong Kong and the mainland. We can draw reference from our existing mutual market access regime and transform RMB into an international asset allocation tool. Our government can direct these capital to the equities market and turn them into RMB-denominated green finance products. Closed-circuit approach will not deal a blow to the foreign exchange or reserve system, and this can help broaden application scenarios of offshore RMB. Also, we have to expand RMB settlement. We are working to build Hong Kong into a global commodities and gold trading center. One of the goals is to provide more RMB-denominated products to facilitate overseas market participants to manage risks. And this is also to gain a greater say in the commodities market for Hong Kong. Hong Kong should work with the relevant traders to help cross-border financial products to get listed. We can draw reference from the Connect scheme and expand the schemes to commodities trade. This can help enhance our influence, and at the same time, Hong Kong can explore using RMB for settlement for merchandises and products to lower risk. This can help us dovetail with national strategies. Third, we have to set up exchange. Last year, the Shanghai Gold Exchange came up with the gold contract for RMB denomination. And this is an innovative approach. Hong Kong is the first offshore gold exchange. We have broadened application scenarios of offshore RMB. Through hard currencies like gold, we can further promote RMB as an international reserve currency. Hong Kong can leverage its advantages as a free port. We can leverage our trade policies to attract merchandises currently facing restrictions to be traded in Hong Kong. We can provide overseas storage and delivery services. This can facilitate commodities trading and promote RMB internationalization. This is going to be a win-win.
Mr. Nick Chen. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Professor Michael NGAI's original motion and Mr. Chan Chun-ying's your amendments. The National 15 Five-Year Plan clearly stipulates Hong Kong is to be developed as a high value-added supply chain service center. It's not just lip service. We need to understand this is the country's guidance for the development direction of the city in future. We should seize this opportunity and make breakthroughs. We need to break through existing barriers in commodities trading imposed by the West. I want to talk about a topic that has not been extensively discussed before. It is about how we can set prices for the trading of commodities and how we can promote the use of renminbi in setting the prices and clearing and settlement of commodities. We have the country being an important buyer for different important commodities, energy, metals, food, and we have the country import large commodities, soybeans, petrol, mines, stones. But in the long term, the country has not been a price setter, and I think Hong Kong can really play an important role in this regard with our strengths in finance. Many commodities trades are settled in the US dollar at the moment and are cleared in exchanges in the West, in London, New York, and Chicago, etc. So we currently face exchange rate risks, settlement risks, as well as risks of sanctions being imposed by the West. With conflicts in the other parts of the world and sanctions being imposed on financial areas, we need to make sure we cater for any possible consequences. We need to strive for greater bargaining and price setting power in commodities trading, and we need to have an innovative mindset for resolution of relevant issues. I think Hong Kong has favorable conditions to be an important exchange of commodities. We do face certain constraints. We don't have much space, so it is not easy for us to allow for a large-scale delivery of physical commodities. But I think we can deal with trade matching, financing, and provide other forms of services. We are a mature financial and legal system. We have a flexible capital mobility regime. What is key is that we should promote renminbi price setting and settlement of commodities so as to reduce exchange risks for the country and promote internationalization of renminbi. In fact, Shanghai has already made an attempt in promulgating oil futures, and I think we can complement Shanghai in our strengths. We can promote renminbi price setting ecosystem for physical commodities. I think under the National 15th Five-Year Plan, we can deepen our financial strengths to serve the country. So I urge the government and relevant regulatory authorities to promulgate a concrete roadmap to set down construction of markets, tax arrangements, warehousing and delivery facilities arrangements to really form an ecosystem and make good use of our positioning as an offshore renminbi center. Mr. Ken Wong, Deputy President, I speak in support of Professor Michael NGAI's original motion and your amendments. The National 15th Five-Year Plan specifically says we should expedite the country's development as a financial powerhouse and accelerate internationalization of renminbi and open up capital projects. This is the country's core strategy. It is also a historic opportunity for Hong Kong as an international financial center. Hong Kong, as the world's largest offshore renminbi business hub, handles over 75% of offshore renminbi payment and settlement transactions. The renminbi pool is over $1 trillion in size. We see a greater demand internationally for renminbi, and we do face fierce competition from other financial centers in the region. If we develop as an offshore renminbi hub, it will dovetail with the country's strategy to promote internationalization of renminbi. It is also important for the high-quality development of the local economy. I have a few suggestions. One, we should enhance awareness on Hong Kong being a renminbi business hub and its infrastructure. The Central Money Markets Unit, CMU, is an infrastructure in Hong Kong. We should enhance awareness of the infrastructure. We should include in the educational materials of primary and secondary schools knowledge relevant to internationalization of renminbi and the offshore financial market of Hong Kong. We should also provide to tertiary institutions as well as in-service worker training institutions offshore renminbi operational courses covering knowledge of the CMU system as well as the connect arrangements with Shanghai and Shenzhen, so that more students and low-level practitioners become familiar with the knowledge and applications. We also need to promote wider use of renminbi. We should issue more offshore renminbi bonds, and various development banks, Asian Development Bank and Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, will soon set up regional headquarters in Hong Kong. We should rely on the Belt and Road Initiative and GBA development to promote wider application of renminbi in different areas, including green finance, and enhance our financial cooperation with the ASEAN, Middle East, and Europe. We should have for energy and infrastructural transactions renminbi being used for renminbi clearing and settlement. We should systematically nurture and introduce financial talents for supporting upgrading of industries. We should expand the subsidy scheme for training financial talents. We should work with top-notch financial institutions to design curricula on relevant risk management and other courses to enhance the talent list arrangements, to provide facilitation arrangements for introducing relevant talents, and to have a high-level exchange platform for the industry so that we can share experience with practitioners in London, Singapore, Middle East, and other financial centers. Deputy President, I believe with wider application of renminbi and systematically training high-end talents, we can enhance Hong Kong's competitiveness as an offshore renminbi hub. It will create impetus for growth of Hong Kong as an international financial center. We can also serve the country in its high-quality opening up and development as a financial powerhouse. I so submit speaking in support of the motion and amendment. Mr. Hon came in. Deputy President, the National 15th Five-Year Plan clearly stipulates accelerating the construction of financial powerhouse, promoting the internationalization of renminbi, and opening up the capital market of the country. And Hong Kong can be a demonstration zone for the financial opening up of the country. We can be a firewall as well to mitigate certain risks. With a system dominated by the US dollar, we have seen with recent development opportunity for renminbi. We have seen gradual internationalization of renminbi. We have renminbi being used in various trades amounting to over 817 billion US dollars. We're ranked the 5th trading and reserve currency in the world, and in the IMF basket, renminbi is ranked the 3rd. And in the first half of 2025, transactions with renminbi paid amounts to $35 trillion. It is a year-on-year increase of 24%. We have 80 central banks, including renminbi, as part of their foreign reserves. And if we promote internationalization of renminbi, it will help reduce reliance on US dollars. We have our strengths being an offshore renminbi hub. We handle approximately 80% of the offshore renminbi payment transactions. We have a good payment system and settlement system. We have different connect arrangements: bond connect, wealth management connect, swap connect, etc., to promote two-way capital flow. As at end of February 2026, we have renminbi deposits and CDs amounting to $1.181 trillion. And we have issued dim sum bonds of $1.1009 trillion. With the support of the People's Bank of China, the renminbi business facility quota has doubled to $200 billion, and we have a hub and spoke model that has extended to the Middle Eastern and European markets. With the opportunity of the government promulgating its first 5-year plan, I have the following suggestions. We should enhance liquidity and cross-boundary quotas for capital to promote connectivity of renminbi and other currencies, trading and payment systems. Second, we need to deepen the connect schemes. We should have renminbi stock counters included in southbound trading. We should have stamp duty concessions. We should have more mutually recognized funds. we should explore developing or launching futures and derivatives products and provide more risk management tools. We should encourage international capital and product innovation. We should encourage more governments and enterprises to come to Hong Kong to issue dim sum bonds. We should actively explore asset-linked bonds and perhaps have ESG capital, have renminbi denominated gold and oil futures. We should look into developing the sovereign bond market. We should regularize arrangements for issuing sovereign bonds and bonds issued by policy banks to improve the renminbi sovereign bond yield curve, developing the cross-boundary repo market, and have a more comprehensive risk management system. Deputy President, Hong Kong is an important demonstration zone for the country's financial opening up. We have a historic mission of internationalizing renminbi. We have our advantages in helping the country's development as a financial powerhouse. This will also help us consolidate our status as an international financial center. Your time is up, Mr. Jimmy.
1號咧，人民銀行咧發表。
Thank you, President. As at the end of March, global central banks have already withdrawn 116 billion RMB from People's Bank of China, according to analyses conducted by Bloomberg. This shows a burgeoning demand for renminbi. This is a prime opportunity for us to internationalize renminbi. The National 15th Five-Year Plan sets out that we need to enhance Hong Kong as a position for a global offshore renminbi business hub. We handle over 75% of offshore renminbi settlement. We have over 1 trillion renminbi liquidity pool. We have all the competitiveness, but then there are still some pain points. One, there is an uneven product structure in the market. The Hong Kong financial market attaches much importance to stock. Despite recent development of dim sum bond, overall, there is still not enough renminbi-nominated derivative tools. Renminbi focuses too much on multinational enterprises and large-scale financial organizations. There's a lack of infiltration rate when it comes to Belt and Road countries. The BPA released a report on international funds using renminbi. We need to upgrade renminbi from a settlement currency to a price-setting currency. We need to strive for the support of the central people's government. We need to provide more products using renminbi as denomination. We need to attract more asset management businesses to Hong Kong. We also need to encourage more Belt and Road trading or traders to use the payment system in Hong Kong. We need to cover short, medium to long-term renminbi products to enhance its appeal. We need to attract more municipalities and governments in the mainland China as well as the GBA to come to Hong Kong to issue more renminbi-denominated bonds. We need to enrich the trading market in Hong Kong, including warehouse collateral, futures, Hong Kong dollars renminbi dual counter, green financial market, in encouraging more enterprises to issue bonds in Hong Kong. Above all, we need to deepen our collaboration with mainland financial institutions. We need to promote development in a synergized manner, in an orderly manner. This should be incorporated into our inaugural 5-year plan. I propose a 3-step approach. One, we need to have a top-level steer. The Hong Kong government should work together with the Hong Kong MA to have a development plan on offshore renminbi market. We need to have a clear goal, and we need to have good division of labor. We also need to revitalize our market. We need to widen our customer base. We also need to conduct publicity programs in a rigorous manner to promote Hong Kong as an international renminbi business center. Safety is a cornerstone for development. We need to enhance cross-border capital safety. We need to curb speculation and non-compliances. We need to enhance our capability for risk management so that we will continue to be an international financial center. I so submit. Ms. Nick Z. Lam, thank you. This is a critical stage for Hong Kong to promote high-quality development. The internationalization of renminbi has a lot to do with national strategies and financial security. Hong Kong as an international financial center has our own advantages. We have mutual market access schemes, and we also have a wide range of renminbi markets. We need to make good use of such advantages so that we can make greater contributions to the internationalization of renminbi. We need to play a bigger role in this regard. Under the National 15th Five-Year Plan, we need to speed up the development of a financial powerhouse, advance renminbi internationalization. There are 3 areas of pain points when it comes to the construction of a offshore renminbi market. On a national level, it already expressly sets out a phased goal, and it has also set out a clear goal for Hong Kong. However, the administration has been talking about principles. It hasn't yet broken down these national strategies into measurable and quantifiable goals, so that we cannot tie in closely with our national goals. There is still room for improvement when it comes to mutual market access, as well as the efficiency of cross-border settlement. The depth and the width still see room for improvement. Offshore renminbi businesses are concentrated in traditional financial investments, commodity settlement, and so on. There's a lack of planning. We need to stick to our strategic plan. We need to have a system, a policy first. This is exactly how we can make greater contributions to our country in line with our national strategies. For the inaugural 5-year plan of Hong Kong, I expect that we will have a clear timeline and roadmap. I believe Hong Kong, on different levels, can enhance our role as an offshore renminbi business hub. We need to have quantifiable goals, phased mission, evaluation mechanisms, so that we can stay aligned with our national strategies. We also need to interface with the Chinese mainland in a targeted manner. When it comes to systems, mechanisms, and standards, we need to have good interfacing. We need to interface with the mainland market as well as the Chinese mainland market. We need to widen the use of renminbi in offshore renminbi market. We need to have more application scenarios. We also need to have a good risk management regime. We need to construct a more robust and orderly onshore and offshore renminbi dual circulation hub so that we can better serve different real economy enterprises and so on. We need to realize higher quality and more resilient long-term development. The success of Hong Kong has much to do with national development strategies. We need to stay aligned with our nation's strategic goals. Hong Kong is an important offshore renminbi business hub. This is an important part. Thank you. Mr. Chan Pok-chi. Thank you, President. The National 15th Five-Year Plan explicitly sets out the goals to speed up the development of a financial powerhouse, advance renminbi internationalization, and deepen capital account convertibility. Hong Kong is the largest renminbi business hub. It handles over 80% of renminbi settlements over the world. It has over 1.1 trillion renminbi liquidity pool. We need to stay actively aligned with our nation's strategies. We need to seize upon the historic opportunities of renminbi internationalization. According to the Bank for International Settlement, global settlement for renminbi totaled 817 billion US dollars. Renminbi is becoming the third largest settlement currencies and the second largest trade financing currency. It ranks third in one of the MPF indicators. This clearly shows that this is an important stage for the internationalization of renminbi. We need to actively incorporate renminbi into southbound connect of the mutual market access schemes. We need to fundamentally resolve the issue of a lack of mobility. At the same time, I encourage enhancing the range of mutual market access schemes. Each stock dividends and rates need to be lowered to 10% in order to align with that of investors in Hong Kong. We also need to lower the threshold for southbound connect investors. This will boost the liquidity of the market. The government should also enrich the renminbi-denominated product offerings. For example, they need to provide more support to green bonds, sustainable bonds, and so on. The DAB during the two sessions today already suggested that we need to strive for the launch of renminbi-denominated sovereign bond futures. This will be a good risk management tool. In order to enhance the competitiveness of renminbi in the digital age, we need to promote standards and technical interfacing between e-Hong Kong dollar and digital renminbi or e-renminbi. This will further cement Hong Kong's position as a global offshore renminbi business hub. There is a rapid reconstructing of global currencies around the world. We need to be bold in innovation. We need to actively align with the National 15th Five-Year Plan. The above suggestions should be incorporated into the inaugural 5-year plan of Hong Kong. We need to stay resolute. We need to stay committed. We need to improve renminbi-denominated product offerings and enhance mobility or liquidity. We need to enhance the width and the depth of the market. We need to stay competitive in different areas. Renminbi internationalization is a long-term strategy of our nation in opening up. We are an international financial center. We have capacity as well as resolution to assume a greater role in this process. Let's stay united. Let's grasp these opportunities to make greater contributions to our country, to develop Hong Kong into an international financial powerhouse.
Professor William Wong. Thank you, President. Global currency and financial order are at a critical juncture of transformation now. there are geopolitical conflicts and tension, as well as weaponization of US dollars. These undermine the trading rules around the world. And around the world, there is a loss of confidence in US dollars. Countries around the world are moving towards de-dollarization. The oil crisis sparked by the US-Iran war has also shaken the US dollar system. On the contrary, China is stepping up collaboration with other countries. Countries around the world are enhancing their economic and trading ties with our country. We see multilateral agreements on the use of multi-currencies for settlement, and we see the use of RMB in commodity trading, and this is a breakthrough. In recent years, RMB in international trade is becoming more important. RMB has become the second largest trade financing currency around the world and the third largest payment currency. Hong Kong is the third largest financial center in the world, and it is also the largest offshore RMB hub. We have to leverage our financial advantages to promote RMB internationalization. I have 3 suggestions. First, we have to strengthen collaboration with RMB hubs in Europe, including London. A few months ago, our country signed agreements with the UK on service trading, healthcare, and new energy. Hong Kong and London have close ties, and we are both common law systems. Hong Kong should seize the opportunities and serve as the bridge. In Sino-British collaboration, we should work with our country to expand the application scenarios of RMB in Europe as well as in the Middle East to extend the coverage of RMB. Third, we have to expand offshore RMB use scenarios. In recent years, we've been expanding the diversified market, including gold, commodities, and RWA. All these can be application scenarios of offshore RMB. Hong Kong should leverage its advantages as an international INT center and an international IP trading center. We should attract international INT enterprises and cultural enterprises to establish presence in Hong Kong. We should promote INT IPs and cultural IPs to enrich the offshore RMB ecosystem. Also, we should promote RMB internationalization. Our country has an edge in the industrial chain. It can set prices for commodities trading. BHP Group in Australia, starting from last year, has been receiving RMB or accepting RMB as settlement means for trading. So we're breaking away from the US dollars for settlement. Hong Kong is the first cross-border pilot point for ECNY, and we should step up interfacing with the Middle East and Southeast Asian countries. We should ride on the foundation of Enbridge to promote CBDC. We should use blockchain and instant settlement technologies to lower transaction costs and to promote the use of RMB and ECNY. We should expand the RMB ecosystem and promote corporate use of ECNY, such as cross-boundary financing and supply chain financing. This can help bring RMB internationalization to another stage. All in all, Hong Kong can help expand application scenarios of offshore RMB. We can make use of technologies in order to achieve that, and we should incorporate these proposals into our 5-year plan. I so submit. Thank you. Next, Dr. Webster Ng. President, I speak in support of Professor NGAI's motion and the amendment. The National 15 5-year plan clearly states that we need to fulfill the three functions to promote RMB. We should seize the opportunities to promote RMB internationalization. Currently, RMB sees greater usage. Global settlement and clearing system has been making use of RMB, and this helps lay a solid foundation for RMB. We are at a critical juncture of transforming global currency system. Hong Kong should play a role by upgrading our platform and infrastructure. We should be the coordinator among various financial standards and systems. I think we should move from liquidity pool to a risk management center. We should expand our scale by strengthening our system. The professional services in Hong Kong are irreplaceable and are critical. I want to talk about our strengths. First, Hong Kong is the largest offshore RMB hub. We have the biggest liquidity pool, and we handle over 75% of RMB payment. And according to HKMA, by end of March this year, RMB deposits reached about 1 trillion, and it accounts for about 85% around the world. In 2021, issuance of dim sum bond reached 1.1 trillion, and the balance stands at 1.6 trillion. It represents a growth of 74%. In the latest budget, HKMA announced an expansion of RMB liquidity facility to 200 billion. These are uncontroversial, but it doesn't mean that we should stay complacent. RMB internationalization has moved towards a new stage of financing. We should not just be the transit point here. We have to work on our systems, products, and professional services. So I have the following three suggestions. First, for long-term RMB denominated bonds, we should build a center. The government has just issued infrastructure bonds of 20 to 30 years of tenors, and it sees an oversubscription of 7.6 times, and it shows that these bonds are well received, and this helps us build an RMB bond yield curve. However, this also brings about issues of debt and liability, and there are risks incurred. In order to reduce investors' frictions, I suggest that the government work with IFRS and talk to them about guidelines for long-term RMB denominated bonds. Also, the key is to build a certification system for RMB commodities trading system. We should build commodity trading contracts and build RMB and US dollar dual track price setting mechanism. This is not just about pricing or price setting, but it also has to do with valuation, as well as warehouse receipt financing and auditing. I hope there could be auditing standards and certification standards so that Hong Kong will not just be a price setting center, but also a confidence center. On green finance, we need to build our ESG into a professional brand. The central government is going to issue green sovereign bonds for the first time in Hong Kong. This shows that Hong Kong plays an important role in green finance in our country. RMB-denominated green finance products, including infrastructure bonds, as well as sovereign bonds, require strict ESG auditing certification, as well as carbon auditing. I suggest that we should incorporate green finance certification as part of our professional services to help enterprises go global. We can provide international accredited professional and certification services for enterprises. RMB is an area where we can make use of our professional services. We should focus on both quality and quantity. The accounting sector is willing to provide risk management services and certification purposes. We are willing to work with the SAR government so that we can be an indispensable role in our country.
Mr. Robert Lee. Thank you, President. I speak in support of The motion moved by Mr. Michael NGAI and the amendment by Mr. CHAN Chun-ying. The 15th five-year plan says that we need to accelerate the construction of a financial power. Financial power house need to comprise of many key elements, including Renminbi. The plan also supports Hong Kong in developing itself into a offshore Renminbi business hub and enhance our role as an international financial center. In order to further promote the offshore Renminbi business, I have three suggestions. First, we need to enlarge the scale of offshore Renminbi usage. Second, we need to enrich the product offering. Third, we need to deepen mutual access to promote cross-border investment. On extending the use of offshore Renminbi, in recent years, we have achieved success with internationalization of Renminbi. According to the latest statistics, in March this year, the payment share of Renminbi account for 3.1%. We are the fifth largest payment currency. The percentage of Renminbi usage in international transactions account for 8.04%. We are the second largest currency used in international trading. According to IMF, in the fourth quarter last year, Renminbi account for 1.95% in global reserve currency. We're the seventh largest. As Renminbi internationalize, Hong Kong will continue to play the role as a super connector and super value adder. We will continue to leverage our strength of having support from our motherland and being connected to the rest of the world. We need to enhance the role of Renminbi in international finance, trading, retail, tourism, so on and so forth. We need to use Renminbi to a greater extent. At the same time, we have to encourage the use of Renminbi in cross-border and cross-boundary consumption in the Greater Bay Area. And we also need to look into how we can make better use of Renminbi as a digital currency in public service and supply chain. As we diversify our product offering in Renminbi, Hong Kong has the largest liquidity pool of Renminbi. The scale is as high as 1.2 trillion yuan. We have all the conditions to diversify our products and support the prosperous development. The SFC and Hong Kong MA just published a roadmap on developing fixed income products. It is said that we need to enrich the Renminbi-denominated product ecosystem. We need to develop more Renminbi-denominated stock, future derivatives, fund, gold, and wealth management products. It is also suggested that more provincial government issue bonds denominated in Renminbi in Hong Kong. We need to issue more Renminbi-denominated tokenized bonds. And we also need to offer financing services in Renminbi for green infrastructure projects along the Belt and Road countries. The mutual access program have become more diversified. It used to cover just stock and bond exchange. Now it covers ETF, cross-boundary wealth management, products and funds. I think that we need to continue to review and improve the Wealth Connect and many mutual access market products. At the same time, we need to introduce Renminbi counter in the Stock Connect, and we need to look into providing concessions on stamp duty at the dual currency counter. The budget said that we need to establish a one-stop multi-asset post-settlement and transaction infrastructures. I hope that the relevant measures will be implemented as soon as possible. Hong Kong should, based on the current foundation, improve our settlement system. We need to implement cross-product and cross-settlement collateral arrangement. Thank you.
Mr. John President, the National 15th Five-Year Plan explicitly stipulates accelerating the construction of a financial powerhouse, promoting renminbi's internationalization, and enhancing the level of capital account openness. Now, this is a hard-to-come-by opportunity for Hong Kong. It is also our primary mission. Hong Kong is the biggest offshore renminbi hub. So we have the unique advantages of connecting with the world and having the mainland support under one country, two systems. We have the responsibility of supporting the opening up of our country's financial market. We play a pivotal role, and that is why we must adopt vision at a macro level. We must be innovative. I have 4 suggestions. First, we must bolster our foundation and consolidate our foundation as a renminbi offshore renminbi hub. We are an international financial center. We need to continue to enhance our capacity in terms of settlement so that we can run as smooth as a high-speed rail. We need a robust system that is highly connected, and this is the foundation for financial infrastructure and for internationalization of renminbi. The government should work proactively with mainland regulatory institutions to ensure that despite the external headwinds, we remain robust and safe. We must also have regard to our country's strategy on ensuring financial security. We have already promulgated our policy on the issuance of stable coins, and there'll be a licensing regime set up. At the same time, we must have regard to our country's consideration on cryptocurrencies and cross-boundary flow of capital, so as to make sure that we remain resilient and we do not conflict with our country's foreign exchange control. And that is why I urge the SAR government to have regard to our country's rules and regulations, and that the licensing regime on stablecoin issues should be implemented in a smooth, in a progressive manner. These should include AML features, KYC, and there should also be safeguards against financial crimes across the boundary. We should also make use of Ambridge and ECNY so as to build a complementary framework to serve our country by providing a cross-boundary payment channel that uses ECNY. We must also enrich the products. At the moment, we should focus on renminbi assets and tokenization. Our country is taking forward a green financial transformation. Hong Kong is the leading hub. We have the prerequisite to be the leader in this new wave, and we should develop renminbi-denominated green financial products. And we also have another advantage, and that is Web3. We are in a leading position, so we can roll out renminbi-denominated tokenized stocks and bonds, even commodities, so that with tokenization we can roll out more innovative financial products and enrich the dual counter model, so as to attract more overseas investors. The 4th suggestion is that we should make sure there is good interaction within the system. We have an offshore market that complements with the mainland's onshore market. We need to enhance the ecosystem, and that is we should enhance the mutual access programs. At the same time, there should be a unified front with mainland regulatory authorities so as to monitor any suspicious cross-boundary transactions and ensure a safe loop for mainland capital to go global as well as attracting overseas investments and capital. Many members have put forward some meaningful suggestions. I hope that the government can fully consider these suggestions and have them incorporated in the first 5-year plan of the Hong Kong SAR, so that we can dovetail with the national 15th 5-year plan and consolidate our status as the offshore renminbi business hub to contribute to our country. I support the motion and the amendments. Mr. Jonathan Lampert. Thank you, President. I thank Professor Michael NGAI for moving today's motion. The country's 15th 5-year plan has provided us with a very important mission, and that is to take forward internationalization of the renminbi in order to take forward high-quality development of a country. This is also a historic moment for Hong Kong. The SAR government is now drawing up the first 5-year plan. We must be active. We must look for breakthroughs, and that means we should give play to our role as the offshore renminbi business hub. Riding on this unique strength, in fact, we have about 100 enterprises in Hong Kong among the top 500 global enterprises. So we fully support internationalization of renminbi and renminbi business in Hong Kong. Now, our organization has put put forward a number of suggestions, including enhancement of financial infrastructure and developing application scenarios of offshore renminbi and enhancing market liquidity. We have more and more trading ties with the rest of the world, and that is why there is rapid development on using renminbi as the settlement currency. Renminbi accounts for 4% of global payment settlement, and it also accounts for 14% of trade between our country and the rest of the world. Now, there is room for growth in light of the geopolitical tension. Renminbi is now getting more and more recognition around the world, and Hong Kong should grasp this opportunity as an offshore renminbi business hub and will definitely benefit from the process. In order to promote renminbi's internationalization and offshore business, we should make use of our advantage as the offshore hub. We should, for example, issue on a regular basis renminbi-denominated bonds of different tenors so as to improve the yield curve and attract capital in the short, medium to long term, so as to enhance the depth of the offshore liquidity pool and its liquidity. We should also roll out renminbi-denominated settlement trials with ASEAN, Middle East, and Belt and Road countries, and encourage settlement of commodity trading to be done in renminbi. We should also educate investors and expand the application scenarios of renminbi so as to take forward internationalization. We must also address issues and enhance financial infrastructure, lower the cost of cross-boundary transaction. My suggestion is for the government to ask for favorable administrative measures from the central authorities so that the dividends, so that the withholding tax can be subject to tax deduction for investors in the stock market. And we should also further consolidate Hong Kong's status as the premium location for international financing. Our association also suggests setting up a repo channel so as to allow international investors to be able to have foreign exchange in an expeditious manner. This can also enhance liquidity and certainty. Finally, we should develop application scenarios of offshore renminbi and enhance liquidity. Now, we also suggest setting up a trading mechanism with ASEAN countries. The Hong Kong MA should liaise with the counterparts in ASEAN countries so as to set up a bilateral forex quotation and trading mechanism to facilitate liquidity of renminbi and to facilitate direct exchange with currencies in ASEAN countries. I believe all these measures can help renminbi go global, and this can also help us exert greater influence in the financial markets in APAC and in the world. I hope the government will consider my suggestion. Mr. Eric Yim, Hong Kong is the largest offshore renminbi business hub with a liquidity pool of 1.1 trillion. We also takes up 70% of all renminbi-denominated settlements in the world. We also enjoy some advantages such as a low and simple tax regime and a highly liquid market. We are also connected to the onshore market, so we serve the country and we have a very important platform. In the past years, we have started with offshore renminbi business hub by trading settlement. Now it has expanded to different areas, including financing and risk management, and we are improving the ecosystem. Now, in light of global competition and the demand for renminbi-denominated asset allocations, risk hedging, etc., there is a need for us to make a breakthrough so that we become the major hub for renminbi-denominated asset allocation, and we can then create a cycle and provide solid support for the internationalization of renminbi. In order to do that, we need to develop application scenarios of renminbi. That means we should enhance the use of renminbi in investment, in trading, financing, in particular in commodity trading. The Hong Kong MA and the People's Bank of China has raised the size of the renminbi business facility to 200 billion renminbi. And under this arrangement, we can promote the financing activities in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and South America in renminbi and promote cross-boundary e-commerce, etc. The other point is about expansion of the scale of the dual counter model of our stock market so as to enhance the dual counter trading mechanism and enhance market liquidity. On bond market, we should promote the issuance of government bonds, green bonds, and improve the yield curve so as to develop a higher yield curve and to meet international investors' demand for sovereign bonds, futures, and other risk management tools. We should also grasp the opportunities brought about by green finance and digital finance and strive for greater use of renminbi. As for stable coins and also ECNY, we can set up trials for the use. We should enhance liquidity, and that means we should deepen the mutual access programs. That means we should enhance, say, the operation of Bond Connect, Shanghai and Shenzhen Stock Connect, etc. We should promote cross-boundary repo business to enhance efficiency. So as to enhance liquidity, we should also have a stronger say on the setting of interest rates and foreign exchange rates of renminbi outside the territory. President, there is a demand for Hong Kong as an international center to bolster its status as a renminbi business hub. This is also our strategic mission to serve our country as it accelerates the construction of a financial powerhouse. The government should draw on this opportunity as we draw up the first 5-year plan. We should consolidate our strengths and enhance coordination among government departments so that we can give play to one country, two systems advantage and exert a greater say in the global community. I support the motion and the amendments.
Mr. Alan Chen.
Thank you. The mainland maintains capital control. RMB does not flow freely. There's rivalry between China and the US. It's not likely that our country will open up its capital account. We're at the mercy of the absent flows of the US dollar, but that's not the case of the mainland. But there's a flip side to the security, and that is a failure to meet the need for RMB in clearing and settlement. Hong Kong has common law. We have connections with global market. Our offshore RMB business allows for a free-flowing source of RMB. We can serve our country with what we do best. So we are in this unique position. We must act. In late 2025, we had the largest RMB liquidity pool. RMB deposits along with certificates of deposit were at 1.09 trillion RMB. Altogether with other balances, the amount went up to 13 trillion. Daily transactions were at 250 billion RMB. That made up more than 70% of all transactions on SWIFT. The SIPS system also saw 180 trillion RMB in business. there were 194 participants and more than 1,000 indirect participants on the SIPS system. And that shows the infrastructure is growing stronger. We have what it takes to take the offshore RMB business to the next level. There are other offshore RMB business hubs, such as Singapore and London. We have to go beyond just RMB savings. We must look to bonds, gold, risk management tools. Otherwise, the money only exists on paper. We won't have depth and pricing power. There are a few things we should focus on. First, we should work with the mainland on RMB liquidity. As we have doubled our RMB business facility to 200 billion RMB, we should expand the capacity. We need more application scenarios to ensure greater circulation of the money. We have to focus on RMB investment product. In equities, we need more RMB trading counters so that we can have dual currency trading for more equities. We should include RMB trading counters in our stock connect. In terms of our bond connect, we need a larger supply of RMB bonds. We should put the headquarters of the Asian Infrastructure Development Bank and the BRICS countries' development banks in Hong Kong. We should issue Belt and Road RMB bonds. The investments in Belt and Road countries reach 100 trillion RMB, so that can be our market. We should combine green finance and commodity trading and RMB businesses. For years in a row, Hong Kong has been a key green bond center. We're now working on gold. We're trying to create a commodity trading ecosystem. We should encourage more green bonds to be issued in RMB. We should work with the Shanghai Gold Exchange. We should work on gold settlement and offshore RMB. Now we should team up with Shanghai, Dalian, Zhengzhou, and Guangzhou. We should team up and come up with a commodity connect. The greatest risk for us is that we're moving too slow. Despite having the right conditions, we have to be bold in our reform. We should turn the liquidity pool of RMB into investment products. Your time is up. Mr. Adrian Ho. The 15th five-year plan expressly proposes working faster to build strength in finance. Hong Kong, as an offshore business hub, has a role to play. More and more overseas bodies and investors are holding RMB, and that means a growing demand for RMB investment product. We should encourage foreign investors to take part in onshore RMB investment. A report from the Financial Services Development Council states that market players want greater transparency in onshore ratings, and that points to inadequacies. Our credit rating business is dominated by 3 foreign rating agencies. During the riots of 2019, the ratings given by certain foreign rating agencies were heavily politicized. So we should play a more proactive role. There are many sizable rating agencies in the mainland. Some have already obtained a license from the Securities and Futures Commission. But foreign investors know little about these mainland rating agencies. Hong Kong is a super connector. We can serve as a bridge. We have a green and sustainable finance pilot scheme. We should make use of subsidy schemes to encourage investors to use Chinese rating agencies. Once overseas investors become more familiar with the ratings given by Chinese rating agencies, then they will be more comfortable about taking part in the onshore RMB market. Another key scenario for offshore RMB is the dim sum bond market. In recent years, Belt and Road countries and entities came to Hong Kong to issue RMB bonds. Last year, the Indonesia government and the Kazakhstan Development Bank issued dim sum bonds in Hong Kong. We should double down on this front to achieve greater acceptance of RMB on the global stage. We have been trying to explore the emerging market. Islamic bonds are a key part of the process. Back in 2021, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Malaysia issued RMB-denominated Islamic bonds. Such issuance is not yet commonplace, but we can seize this opportunity to promote development on this front. On 3 occasions, the Hong Kong government issued bonds denominated in USD. The last issuance was in 2017. Since we're issuing bonds to support our infrastructure anyway, our government should issue RMB-denominated Islamic bonds that to deepen ties with Middle Eastern markets. Supporting the drive to take RMB global is key to Hong Kong's status as a financial center. We should seize opportunities to beef up and scale up our offshore RMB business. I so submit, I support the motion and the amendment. Mr. Mark Chong. I support Professor Michael NGAI's motion and also Mr. Ron Chan's amendment. The outline of the National 15th Five-Year Plan is clear. We have to take RMB global. Hong Kong is an offshore RMB hub. How do we foster the healthy interaction of onshore and offshore RMB? That should be the focus of our first 5-year plan. Members have commented on infrastructure, product innovations, and the financing ecosystem. I want to urge the government to seize the opportunity of the stablecoin ordinance. We should make the most of virtual assets and offshore RMB to forge a new path defined by digital technology. We now have the stablecoin ordinance. Hong Kong is now among the few jurisdictions with a clear regulatory framework for stablecoins. This legislative framework is a milestone for virtual assets. It's also a form of new quality productive forces. With regulation in place, there is reliability. We should seize this opportunity. So we should issue compliant stable coins in the form of RMB. That's how we can develop application scenarios for offshore RMB. Mr. Ron Chan's motion amendment calls for strengthening offshore RMB clearing capabilities. Clearing across borders is usually constrained by the operating hours of banks in different places and the high transaction fees. Compliant stable coins can solve this problem. Stable coins can operate 24/7. They can enable instant point-to-point payments, and this can lower the costs of cross-boundary transactions. It can save time, it can lower risks. Tokenization and stable coins can make transactions easier. This means ASEAN and Belt and Road e-commerce players can turn to RMB for settlement. The motion also mentions product innovation in equities, bonds, green finance, commodities, gold, and risk management tools. Market players are now talking about the tokenization of real-world assets. Since we already have the law on stable coins, we should turn offshore RMB products such as bonds into tokens. Global investors will be able to use tokens to trade in RMB assets. This can promote the liquidity of offshore RMB. This can also channel global Web3 capital into Hong Kong's offshore RMB. I'm from New Territories Northwest. Every day, I see the ever closer links between Hong Kong and the mainland cities of the GBA. The GBA is a great place to pilot the interaction of onshore and offshore RMB. So we can launch trial schemes at Qianhai or at the Loop for mutual access between onshore and offshore RMB. This can offer more efficient digital financial services for cross-boundary e-commerce. Technology is redefining the future of finance. For us to consolidate our status as a financial center, we cannot bank on the old formula. We must ride on the advantage we have with the passage of the stablecoin ordinance. We should leverage digital finance and offshore RMB. This should be made part of our own 5-year plan, and we should align with the National 15th Five-Year Plan and support the motion and the amendment.
Mr. Rock Chen. President, I speak in support of Mr. Michael NGAI's motion and Mr. Chan Chun-ying's amendment. The 15th Five-Year Plan explicitly stipulates accelerating the construction of a financial powerhouse and promoting the internationalization of Renminbi. Hong Kong is given the status of a commodities trading hub and a offshore Renminbi business center. As we are going from stability to prosperity, the SAR government is now formulating our own 5-year plan to actively dovetail with national strategies. I think that this shows that Hong Kong has been upgrading from a participant of national development to a contributor. This is how we can serve the country. Hong Kong is now the largest offshore renminbi business hub. We have a large liquidity pool of renminbi. We process 80% of settlement transacted in renminbi. Given the heightened geopolitical tensions and increased competition, Hong Kong must continue to improve our offshore renminbi financial infrastructures and extend the application scenarios. As such, I suggest that the government focus on the following 3 areas when they formulate the 5-year plan. First, we need to enrich the renminbi product offering and enlarge the scale of renminbi-denominated bond issuance. We should continue to improve the Hong Kong RMB dual counter model. At the same time, we must implement the policies on promoting using renminbi to pay stamp duty. This is how we enhance the convenience and efficiency of settlement. As our country is developing steadily, many of our foreign partners hold a large amount of renminbi. They need a channel for investment. So I encourage the SAR government and regulators to attract overseas issuers to come to Hong Kong to issue renminbi-denominated bonds. This will plug our loopholes, and this will also consolidate our status as an offshore renminbi hub. Second, we need to develop renminbi-denominated commodities and gold trading ecosystem. The government is now developing a gold trading market and a commodities trading ecosystem. I support the government in making use of our advantage in our efficiency in trading and settlement as well as our tax regime. We need to improve our gold central clearing system, and we need to work with the Shanghai Gold Exchange and rolling out more renminbi-denominated gold and ferrous metal commodities, futures, and investment products. This is how we can extend renminbi from money market to commodities market. This will allow our country to have a bigger say in price setting. Third, I think that we need to extend our financing platform. Hong Kong and Shanghai can work together to drive our country's development into a financial powerhouse. I think that we need to improve the mutual access system, and we need to explore the possibility of A+H listing model. This is how we can attract more mainland and overseas enterprises to come each list in Hong Kong. This will allow our mainland enterprises go global while attracting long-term capital from other countries to come to Hong Kong. And this is how we build a virtuous cycle. President, to build a financial powerhouse, we need a strong currency. Hong Kong has a unique edge of having one country, two systems. We have a free flow of capital, and we are well connected to the rest of the world. When we promote the internationalization of renminbi, we play a very important role. As long as we improve our top-level design and implement various policies, we can continue to enhance our status as an international financial center and contribute to the high-quality development of our country. I so submit. I support the motion and the amendment. Mr. Tommy Chong. President, I speak in support of Mr. Michael NGAI's motion and Mr. Chan Chun-ying's amendment. I'd like to talk about how we can build a commodities ecosystem and extend the application scenarios of offshore renminbi in the global south from the perspective of trading. This is how we can make use of our advantage to dovetail with National 15 5-year plan. First, we need to build an ecosystem for commodities trading. It is an important component to the import and export scene in the world. Most of them is denominated and settled in USD. When we carry out cross-border trading on the mainland, they need to be settled in the USD, and this result in risk of foreign exchange. The London Metal Exchange and the Chicago Commodities Exchange recognize Hong Kong as a transaction location. So I suggest that as we improve our warehouse infrastructures, I think that we need to extend the diversity of our renminbi-denominated products from gold to other various metal so that we can offer more currency options for transactions of commodities. Second, we need to roll out renminbi-denominated futures such as options and futures to help enterprise lock up their exchange rate. And through improving our supply chain, we can enhance the liquidity of our enterprises. Second, we need to explore the global south market. The Middle East and the Southern Africa is our important importers. Oil from the Middle East and gold, as well as non-ferrous metals from the South Africa, are important imported goods. However, most of them are settled in USD, and we rely on the clearing system of the US dollars. Hong Kong need to play a role as a offshore renminbi business hub. I think that we can work with us, Kazakhstan, and countries in the Middle East in building a renminbi clearing system. This is how we can settle renminbi directly with them. We need to formulate financing products denominated in renminbi targeting the global south market. We need to lower the cost of transactions and encourage financial institutions from the Global South to issue dim sum bond denominated in renminbi in Hong Kong. And I think that we need to work with chambers of commerce and share with the Global South market the success in settling in RMB, how we can save transaction cost and shorten the settlement time frame by using renminbi, for example. Third, I think that we need to offer long-term policy support. We need to lower the transactions fee for commodities trading settled in renminbi. We also have to offer tax concessions and enlarging the renminbi business facility continuously. Also, we need to conduct more delegation visits to other countries together with import and exporters, chambers of commerce, so that they know about the latest tax policies and business environment in different places. All this is how we can lower the cost of trading. When the chief executive visit Kazakhstan next month, I hope that they will establish a regular communication mechanism with the local government so that we can implement the relevant policies and such that Hong Kong can benefit from the construction of a commodities trading ecosystem. I so submit. Thank you, President. Mr. Alex Fan. Thank you, President. I support the motion and the amendment. The 15th five-year plan explicitly stipulates that we have to accelerate the construction of a financial powerhouse, promoting the internationalization of renminbi and enhancing the level of capital account openness. The original motion says that we need to include this in the Hong Kong's five-year plan. I fully support it. In March 2023, the FSDC report was published. It talks about how we should diversify products and enrich a mutual access system and improve our risk management tools. I have a few suggestions. I know that the administration is working on it. They are extending the Swap Connect, the LME, and the Shanghai settlement warehouse are now coming to Hong Kong. From building infrastructures to deepening functions of the system, there are still challenges that we have to address. 3 points to make. First, I think that we need to speed up the diversification of renminbi-denominated commodities. LME, physical goods settlement, renminbi-denominated gold futures are not rolled out yet. In July, the Financial Secretary announced in the Asia Gold Summit that we're going to submit a legislative proposal very soon offering 50% profit tax concessions for commodities trading. I think that we need to speed up and try to seize opportunities to set the price. Second, Singapore, some 10 years ago, leveraged on their status in commodity trading center in promoting a renminbi-denominated trading in palm oil and rubber. They are now offering renminbi-denominated investment service for gas and LNG trading. The dual counter model have been rolled out for 2 years. As at June 2025, the accumulated transactions for renminbi counter is about 49.18 billion yuan compared to the Hong Kong dollar counter, which transaction volume was just 22.52 trillion dollars. That's a 400 times difference. It was said that we will create a dual counter model, but it's not implemented yet. In 2025, the FSDC report says that we need to enrich the renminbi risk management tool. However, CDS derivative tools are now yet to be launched. International investors have increasing hedging risk for credit rating. Without a credit risk management tool, investors will not come. The 15th five-year plan is give us a role in internationalization of renminbi. I think that we need to go further. We need to achieve breakthroughs in building an ecosystem. I have 4 suggestions to address our weaknesses. First, we need to roll out more renminbi-denominated commodities trade and futures, and I hope that the government will implement the 50% tax concession as soon as possible. Second, we need to roll out the southbound trading for Stock Connect. We need to come up with a timetable as soon as possible and include the dual counter model into the Stock Connect. Third, we need to look into creating renminbi-denominated credit derivatives. This is how we can make our risk management system more comprehensive. Fourth, I think that we need to learn from Singapore. We need to build a commodities system denominated in renminbi. With the 200 billion yuan renminbi business facility, we can build a trading window. Also submit.
Dr. Hui Li. Thank you, President. Thank you, Professor Michael NGAI, for moving today's motion so that we have an opportunity to discuss this topic of deepening our function as an offshore renminbi business hub. Whenever we discuss this topic, we often talk about diversifying the products, tapping more channels, increasing the facility, but there is a deeper problem, and that is about offshore renminbi denominated collateral market. This is now a vacuum. Without quality and highly efficient collaterals, we cannot have repo, and this will hamper the liquidity of the market. So I'd like to focus on this aspect. Now, a lot of certificates of deposits and bonds denominated in renminbi are now sloshing about in the market, but they do not qualify as collateral. So there is a lack of liquidity, and there is no trading in the secondary market, and this poses a hurdle to deepening the market and taking forward renminbi's internationalization. Now, by proposing a tiered level, I say that we should have renminbi-denominated products divided into different tiers according to the risks. A progressive approach should be taken. We should have regard to the collateral market's credibility. And for sovereign bonds, those issued by the central authorities, of course, they should be the safest, so they should be given the highest tier. And for quality certificate of deposits, if other conditions are ripe, they can be incorporated as well. And it's a dynamic process. We should adopt objective criteria, and that we should consider the risk level and adjust the tiers if need be. The third point is to devise an incentive mechanism. That is, the risk management capability should be pegged to the products development, and that we can further improve liquidity and form a healthy circulation without having to rely too much on regulation. The last point is that we must keep the bottom line, and that is for sovereign collaterals, they get the highest ranking. For non-sovereign ones, they must first accumulate market experience and undergo tests. That way we can better gauge the risks, and we can also revitalize the market. Now, for the bonds that have undergone the test and with improved liquidity, they can move up the ladder. And we can also drop a legal framework to provide guidance. Now, at the moment, in the market, there are problems with, say, dim sum bonds, trading activities. mostly concentrate on sovereign bonds issued during a certain period of time. And there is a lack of depth in terms of the offshore renminbi bond market in Hong Kong. This is exactly where the Hong Kong MA should come in. They should make sure the market remains stable, and that we should address the issue of the resilience of renminbi collaterals. So we should adopt a risk-based tiered approach. There should be a guarantee for the repurchasing of some dim sum bonds to enhance their credibility, and we should also build firewalls using the collaterals I mentioned. Now, I think that there is a shortcoming in the offshore renminbi market, and there is a lack of product innovation. But I think that we need to pay for this cost in order to enhance risk management and regulation of the market. I support the motion. Dr. Junius Ho, President. I thank Professor Michael NGAI and Mr. Ronald Chan for moving today's motion on strengthening Hong Kong's function as an offshore renminbi business hub, so as to contribute to the renminbi internationalization process. I support the amendments as well. Many members have suggested ways to make greater use of renminbi, be it the Connect schemes, dual counter model. The crux of the matter is that if renminbi is considered to be of value, then it will be put to greater use. So going back to ground zero, we should consider the strength of renminbi. And in the past years, through the reform and opening up process, renminbi is getting stronger and stronger. In fact, in the recent China visit by Donald Trump, in his opening speech, he relayed two important messages. First, he said that presidency is really competent. He's really good. Now, I am told not to sing praises, but I can't help myself. I must do so. So this is a strong message that China is a strong country. The second message is that everybody wants to do business with China, over 30 of them, but we only picked 10. So this is an important message. I mean, these are two important messages. We have the prerequisites. So how should we go about renminbi's internationalization under the 15th five-year plan? Renminbi is now considered a valuable currency. But in order to internationalize renminbi, we need to consider something very important. It is deeply ingrained in Chinese culture that gold is everything. Now, in China, the gold reserve now stands at 2,200 tons. In the US, is 7,800 tons. So we are losing out because they are not willing to reduce the gold reserve. Even if gold prices reached very high level, even up to 50,000, it's just a castle in the air. Now, 2 years ago, the chief executive came up with this suggestion. In fact, in the policy address, as Mr. Christopher Hui also mentioned, we went straight to the main topic, and that is we need to revitalize the gold trading market. This is one way of helping renminbi go global. Now, the biggest markets are now in London and New York and then Shanghai. Well, it's a closed gold trading market. It's subject to some foreign exchange control, but it's still the third position. For Hong Kong, we are a free port. We have a free economy. So I think we need to map out our path with great clarity. In order to do that, for the LBMA should make sure gold comes here. Now, the LME is not really related to the UK anymore now that it's not part of the European Union. So we should make sure that we bring business over and we connect to the Shanghai Exchange. This is our vision. Quantitative easing is just nothing but printing money, and it's just empty talk. We need to promote gold trading. We need to develop a yield curve so that renminbi can go global, so they can become a globally accepted currency. In the coming 5 years, I think the crux of the matter is gold. Well, all other policies should go ahead, the over-the-counter, the ETF and everything, but then the primary goal is to revitalize the gold market. Secretary, this is my advice for you. Next, Ms. Christine Fong. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Professor Michael NGAI's motion and Mr. Ron Chan's amendment. This is a motion on strengthening Hong Kong's function as an offshore renminbi business hub to contribute to the renminbi internationalization process. Hong Kong is the largest offshore renminbi business hub in the world. This is not only our strength, it is also our mission to serve the country. Renminbi is now the fourth largest settlement currency. It's also our payment currency. It's also the second largest currency used in the settlement of trade. Now, Hong Kong processes up to 80% of offshore renminbi settlement. So we need to enhance liquidity. Now, the Secretary this morning mentioned that the liquidity pool for offshore renminbi now stands at 1.2 trillion, and the Hong Kong MA will increase the renminbi business facility to 200 billion renminbi. This will provide steady stream of low-cost capital for the market, and that under a hub and spoke model, we can instill confidence in enterprises and investors around the world to use renminbi, and we need to enrich renminbi denominated products. In that way, we can assist our country in issuing more medium to long-term sovereign bonds denominated in renminbi. That can help promote greater use of renminbi. Hong Kong is an important bridge. We have the Bond Connect and Cross-Boundary Wealth Management Connect. We can also have mutual access on properties as well. The mainland has a vast financial market. Now, since the implementation of the mutual access programs, the cumulative settlement volume has reached 10 trillion yuan. And we also have cross-boundary payment systems such as the faster payment system in Hong Kong, and we're now allowing full flow of capital. Now, renminbi's internationalization is not only related to settlement. We should also focus on, say, the bond market. In 2025, the issuance size reached 21.28 trillion renminbi. As for the certificate of deposits, it's 1.9 trillion. Indonesian government and also Kazakhstan Development Bank in Central Asia also choose Hong Kong as the location for bond issuance. That shows our important position. Now, the chief executive will be conducting a duty visit to these countries. We should be the super connector when it comes to the emerging markets, we should do three things. First, we should enhance the function as a risk management center and expand the market for renminbi-denominated derivatives. We should also help enterprises with hedging activities. We should enhance financial infrastructure and enhance settlement with international markets such as London so as to enhance our status. We should also make use of our strength on green finance and promote more sustainable green ESG capital through bond issuance. We want to provide a highly efficient renminbi-denominated platform to the world. Thank you, President. Does any other member wish to speak? If not, Professor Michael NGAI, you may now speak on the amendment. Thank you, President. First of all, I thank sincerely Mr. Ron Chan for moving an amendment to my motion. I fully agree with what Mr. Ron Chan has added to my motion. He seeks to enrich the content of my motion, in particular, on strengthening offshore renminbi clearing capabilities, as well as expanding the scale of renminbi settlement in cross-border trade. I fully appreciate his support, and I support his amendment as well. Clearing and settlement, or offshore renminbi clearing and settlement, are crucial in bolstering market confidence. It's also key to the process of internationalization of renminbi. Mr. Chan has proposed expanding the scale of renminbi settlement in cross-border trade. This covers shortening the settlement cycle and enhancing transparency to lower risk. Now, against the current geopolitical tensions and complexity, it is very crucial. Hong Kong is the largest renminbi business hub. Is a hub for asset allocation. It is also a very important place for our country's financial system to be connected to the world. We need to safeguard the bottom line in order to tackle the external headwinds and ensure steady progress in internationalization of renminbi so that we can exert more influence in the global financial system. Now, my thinking is actually the same as Mr. Ron Chan. We should deepen the cross-boundary renminbi payment system. We should also set up the renminbi repo central settlement system as well, so as to set up a counterparty settlement system with multiple currencies to enhance liquidity and attractiveness of renminbi assets. Now, I also mentioned digital currency. This can help shorten the settlement cycle and reduce over-reliance on the US-backed system. Mr. Chan's amendment also refers to jointly building a medium to long-term offshore renminbi financing ecosystem with the relevant national authorities. At the moment, there is a demand in overseas market for the short-term liquidity and trading settlement on renminbi. But in the medium to longer term, there is more to be desired. I believe through joint efforts by authorities on both sides, we can then introduce capital on the medium to long term so that we can provide a new channel for global investors, and we can further promote a transformation at a deeper level of using renminbi from the currency of settlement to asset allocation. Mr. Ron Chan's amendment also refers to the blueprint for developing offshore renminbi business hub. I urge members to support my motion as well as his amendment. I also urge the administration to consider Mr. Chan's suggestion and my suggestions in drawing up the first 5-year plan, especially on financial-related policies, so as to draw up concrete policies to support the high-quality development of the financial system in Hong Kong, and that we can scale new heights and develop the renminbi offshore business.
Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury. President, once again, I thank Professor Michael NGAI for moving the motion today, and also Mr. Ron Chan for moving his amendment, and also thank the many members who have spoken. They have shared many constructive and valuable views and suggestions on the topic of strengthening Hong Kong's function as an offshore RMB business hub to take RMB global. The National 15th Five-Year Plan expressly proposes taking RMB global and also pursuing greater openness of RMB capital accounts. This pivotal blueprint offers solid policy support for the journey of taking RMB global. It also sets a clear direction for Hong Kong's financial market reform, exploring global cooperation with partners, and also enhancing our global profile. For Hong Kong, taking RMB global is not just a responsibility given by our country, it's also a core task to advance Hong Kong's long-term development. Hong Kong is the world's largest offshore RMB business hub. We have a unique edge in cementing and enhancing our status as an international financial center. There is a growing demand for RMB in trade financing, investment, and reserve. We have to stay aggressive on many fronts, and they include improving our financial infrastructure, policy in product innovation, and exploring markets. That's how we can seize the historic opportunities brought by the restructuring of the global financial landscape, and that's how we can help our country realize its strategic goal of building strength in finance. I've heard members' speeches. Their concerns are on how we can strengthen Hong Kong's role as a hub. Given the massive changes unfolding before us, there are new opportunities and we have new measures. In my opening speech, I briefed members on the many directions we have with our financial regulators. Our work is about boosting offshore RMB liquidity, enriching the RMB product offering, enhancing the financial infrastructure, and tapping emerging markets. So on these four areas, I will explain the matters further and respond to members' comments. First, boosting offshore RMB liquidity. We take seriously the market's concerns about the reliability and ease of access to RMB liquidity. The RMB business facility, launched by the Hong Kong Monetary Authority in 2025, saw its limit doubled to 200 billion RMB in February this year. This is a steady source of low-cost RMB funding. It supports corporate clients in Hong Kong and outside Hong Kong in accessing RMB financing, and this meets the needs of the real economy that seeks to use and keep RMB. The RMB business facility started off as a tool in trade financing. It is gradually becoming a way to cover the day-to-day operational expenses and also capital expenditure. And it is also expanding its reach to external corporate clients of participating banks. This facility is welcomed by the banking sector. After doubling the limit, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority has received applications from banks that almost reached their own limit, who came back for a higher cap. Fresh applications also came in from non-participating banks. The HKMA will review this facility from time to time. They will look at how the facility is used. They will also remain open to market feedback. With the support of the People's Bank of China and in line with the actual conditions, there will be continuous enhancements so that we can expand the reach of offshore RMB worldwide in support of wider adoption of RMB in the real economy. Second, enriching the RMB product offering. Our direction is a strong core with diverse options, so we focus on bond products and investment products. For bond products, our core strategy is a sustained push to build and improve the yield curve of RMB bonds. We will create this medium to long-term RMB financing ecosystem. We want to thank our country for their massive support. The Ministry of Finance has been issuing RMB bonds in Hong Kong for 18 years in a row. As at April this year, the total amount issued reached 463.5 billion RMB. Shenzhen, Hainan Province, and Guangdong Province also issued local government bonds. Altogether, these green bonds, blue bonds, and sustainable bonds and social bonds reach a total of 56.5 billion RMB. We have also amended our laws to expand the scope of profits tax exemption so that it covers the debt instruments issued by mainland local governments at all levels in Hong Kong. For the Hong Kong SAR government, under our own sustainable bond program and infrastructure bond program, We also issue RMB bonds regularly. The total issuance has reached almost 90 billion RMB, and those bonds include longer-term bonds with a tenure of 20 years and 30 years. That offers the market a more complete basis for pricing. And building on this, the HKMA will work with stakeholders in exploring the formation of the offshore RMB yield curve. They will also study the creation of a new mechanism to improve price discovery in the short to medium term interest rate market. On RMB investment products, we're also working with the mainland to expedite the issuance of mainland government bond futures in Hong Kong, the inclusion of an RMB trading counter under the southbound trading of the South Stock Connect, inclusion of real estate investment trusts under mutual access, and also to provide investors with effective risk management tools and a greater range of RMB asset allocation options. The relevant bodies from the mainland and Hong Kong are working on the preparations. Once the approval is there, we will announce the implementation. On Bond Connect, we have implemented the cross-boundary offshore RMB bond repurchase business using bond held under northbound Bond Connect as collateral. We also encourage OTC Clearing Hong Kong Limited to accept the onshore sovereign bonds and policy financial debt held by foreign investors under Bond Connect as collateral for derivative trading. At the same time, we're expanding the scope of southbound trading investors to insurance companies, fund companies, insurers, wealth management companies, etc. On commodity trading, we will work with our country in fostering our RMB pricing and trading mechanisms. We are exploring further collaboration with the mainland to promote RMB as the base currency for pricing and settlement in global commodity trading. We will deepen institutions development and we will explore market. That's how we can work towards the goal of making RMB a major global currency for pricing in support of the effort to take RMB global. On enhancing financial infrastructure, flexible and efficient financial infrastructure underpins the long-term development of the offshore RMB business. It's also crucial to our continuous effort to enhance market competitiveness and launching innovative products. A modern, technologically driven and international financial infrastructure fosters acceptance of RMB in global markets. The Central Money Markets Unit, which is discussed by many members, plays a key role in supporting offshore RMB repo and Bond Connect. This provides technical support for the circulation of RMB in offshore markets. It lowers the costs of holding and trading in RMB. It encourages global investors to gain exposure to Chinese assets. In the future, the CMU will focus on improving its functions and also enhancing the technological features. It will also support the RMB business facility to enhance liquidity of Hong Kong's offshore RMB market. The digital age is upon us. The conventional financial infrastructure is gradually fusing with digital technology. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority will continue to advance the mBridge project to promote central bank digital currencies. This will enhance the efficiency of cross-boundary payments between the mainland and overseas. This will lower the settlement costs in international transactions, and this will expand the breadth and depth of demand for RMB-denominated assets in global markets. On tapping emerging markets, Hong Kong is a key platform in our country's Go Global initiative. With the global economy undergoing a restructuring process, what members suggested is in line with what we are working towards. Over the past few years, on promoting RMB in emerging markets, Hong Kong has been playing a role in advancing this process. Some sovereign and semi-sovereign entities such as the Indonesian government and the Kazakhstan Development Bank issued their offshore RMB bonds in Hong Kong for the first time. The Indonesian government once again issued bonds including offshore RMB bonds in Hong Kong in February this year. This shows Hong Kong is becoming more attractive as a leader in the issuance of offshore RMB. Now we will look at the Belt and Road countries for partnerships because these places need to build infrastructure. It will continue to team up with the banking sector, investment bodies, and other stakeholders to go on visits. Next month, the chief executive will lead a delegation to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. They will hold seminars, road shows, etc. They will tell the global community about Hong Kong's role in offshore RMB, cross-boundary financial services, etc. This will further demonstrate Hong Kong's role as an global offshore RMB hub, and this will broaden our ties with the emerging market. Once again, I thank the many members who have shared valuable views and suggestions on deepening Hong Kong's RMB hub. In drafting our own 5-year plan, we will actively consider and carefully weigh the valuable views shared by members to make sure we effectively align with our country's 15th 5-year plan and enhance Hong Kong's role as an offshore RMB hub. We will continue to stick to the principles of improving our offshore RMB liquidity, enriching RMB product offering, improving financial infrastructure, and tapping new market so that Hong Kong's development proceeds in lockstep with our country's development. We're confident that the strong support from the Central People's Government and the concerted effort of the government regulators and the sector will allow us to consolidate and enhance Hong Kong's status as a global offshore RMB hub in international financial center so that we can contribute to our country's effort to build strength and finance as also submitted. Thank you.
I now call upon Mr. Chan Chun-ying to move an amendment. President, I move an amendment. I propose a question to you that the amendment moved by Mr. Ronald Chan be passed. I now put the question to you as stated. Members, please proceed to vote. Please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present, that is, those returned by the election committee and those returned by the FCs and GCs. I declare the amendment passed. Professor Michael NGAI, you still have 2 minutes, 16 seconds to reply, then the debate will come to a close. Thank you, President. I thank 30 members who have spoken today. They've explored this issue from different perspectives and professional perspectives in particular to enhance Hong Kong's function as an offshore renminbi business hub and the strategic significance of Hong Kong in contributing to the renminbi internationalization process. Members have talked about diversifying renminbi offshore denominated products, revitalizing the dual counter model, enhancing the bond market, and also enhancing our capability in the commodity trading and price discovery. They have offered invaluable views and they have provided very useful advice for the development of the offshore renminbi business hub as well as mapping out the blueprint. I urge the SAR government to consider thoroughly our suggestions and have them incorporated in the first 5-year plan so as to chart our way with quantitative targets. We should also enhance coordination with the mainland counterparts to ensure opening up of the financial market so that we implement a pilot and trial approach and enhance cooperation among the financial institutions of the two places so as to promote opening up without compromising the bottom line of safeguarding financial risks. We enjoy the one country, two systems advantage. We have the prerequisite to be the testing ground for our country's financial strategy. We must grasp this opportunity under National 15th 5-year plan to promote Hong Kong's business as an offshore renminbi business hub. I urge members to support the motion. Thank you. I now put the question to you that the motion moved by Professor Michael NGAI as amended by Mr. Ronald Chan be passed. Will members please proceed to vote? Members, please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present, that is, those returned by the EC and those returned by the FCs and GCs. I declare the motion as amended passed.